Championship. I'm delighted to say very shortly, Paolo should be joining us here in the commentary box to take us through towards our lunch break. The track here in Valencia is open from 10 AM to 5 PM, but we're going to go off air briefly for an hour in about 25 minutes or so, 1 PM local time here. Throes of 2023 and into 2024. So it's Vinales, the only rider so far that's found a 129. Here is Joan Mir on the factory Honda.
Up into the top 10 now is Joan Mir. He set a 1:30.690, and Mir is now the second busiest rider on track so far this morning. This is lap 28 of the morning for Joan Mir. Our busiest rider has been our top rider at the moment. Fastest overall, Maverick Vinales on 129 on the left-hand side of your screens. 4/10 clear of Jorge Martin, who don't believe we've her up. It's the rider that he was beaten by to the title. Pecco Bagnaia returns to that very distinctive gold champion seat in the back of his Ducati box. Crew chief Christian Gabarini to Pecco's right there. And Bagnaia so far has put in 23 laps of the Ricardo Tormo circuit this morning. Just conversing with his mechanics, his technicians in Italian there in the Ducati box. And of course, this is the first stage of the countdown to the 2024 MotoGP World Cup, staying in 2023 there with the combination of VR46, because here is their new signing, Fabio Di Gianantonio, who very nearly ended a stat that we were looking forward to for much of the end of last season, that we were looking at the first season since 1949 of no back-to-back winners. That looked under serious threat in the closing stages of Sunday's Valencia Grand Prix as Fabio Di Gianantonio chased Pecco Bagnaia down at such a rapid rate of knots, although given the penalty that he received post-race, I'm kind of relieved that Di Gia didn't pass Bagnaia in the end.
Yeah, of course, dropped back from second to fourth place. What an incredible ending to 2023, though it was for Di Gianantonio. When you look at the way he finished the season, in the first 13 rounds, he scored 43 points and then 108 in the last 7. 6 different Ducati winner as well in 2023, which broke another record in what was another memorable season for the Bologna factory. Previously, the most number of different riders winning for a single brand was all the way back in 1979, Suzuki. So once again, showing the superiority of Ducati. They're the brand that everybody's going to be chasing in 2024. Team champions with Prima Pramac, the individual rider glory once again with Bagnaia, wrapping up that fourth consecutive Constructor Prize. They've got the strength in depth in terms of motorcycles, and they've certainly got a deep talent pool as well, which has only got a little bit deeper, hasn't it, with the addition of 93 to their ranks.
Here's Pedro Acosta then, might be about to see the best lap of his MotoGP career so far. And he's quickly realising, isn't he, how ultra-competitive MotoGP is. Less than a second covering our top 11 riders at the moment. Pedro Acosta's best lap to this point is a 1:32.258. The wind really picking up, we're informed by Jack Appleyard in pit lane. Pedro Acosta improves as he goes across the line. A 1:31.707 for Pedro Acosta. He's just under 1.8 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, you can hear that wind picking up in our headsets here in the commentary box. We're just sort of in between the final corner and the checker flag, the finish line here. I hope Pedro Acosta's going to renew his gym membership, because he's going to need to build up some muscle over the winter, isn't he, to learn how to tackle these 300 horsepower MotoGP bikes. We promised you a couple of very special guests, didn't we, for our coverage here in Valencia today. I'm delighted to say we are joined by the first one. The Ducati Corsa Sporting Director Paolo Ciabatti, I think it's fair to say, has had another incredible season in MotoGP. Paolo, first of all, welcome to the commentary box. Congratulations once again. Ducati enjoying another fantastic season. Constructor champions for the 4th year in a row. Prima Pramac Racing winning the team championship. And then in that nail-biting final race here on Sunday, Pecco Bagnaia becoming the first Ducati rider in history to retain the championship. I think it's fair to say we'll start with what a great 2023 has been for you and for Ducati.
Well, actually, it has been great. A season to remember. I think, well, not I think, numbers are quite impressive. 17 GPs won out of 20, and I think 17 pole positions, and wow. And 3 riders in the first 3 positions in the standings. A championship which went down to the wire.
Season, why he was the world champion.
Definitely, you're right, and we shouldn't forget what happened in Barcelona. I think at that point we were just starting the last part of the championship with so many rounds back-to-back, and all the Asian, Australian race, and well, that horrific accident. He was in pole position in Barcelona, he was leading. That crash on the second corner could have been much more serious consequences. Actually, no fractures, but you know, it was a scary one, and for sure he left some wounds on his body. And when he came back on crutches in Misano, obviously we had a totally different plan, because Misano is a track where normally Pecco can make the difference, and he saved the 2 third positions. But still, you know, India and Japan, he was not 100%. So just to say that he was kind of leading comfortably, and this doesn't want to take anything from the fantastic season. If Jorge would win, Pecco would still come 5th and be champion. So we understand that Jorge was under extreme pressure, he made those mistakes, and then Pecco is crowned champion. But I think if you look at, as you said, all the numbers, the lap led, the wins in GP, and
how impressed are you with the way he managed, particularly the second half of the season, and the huge pressure that was coming on him from Jorge Martin? At times it looked as if he was the calmest person in the entire Ducati box, but the pressure was relentless. And how much did he perhaps benefit from the experience of the championship battle he went through with Fabio a year ago?
Yeah, actually, you know, for sure being world champion gives you some extra self-confidence on what you can do. We had some quite tricky weekends, especially a couple of races. We were struggling on Friday, didn't, you know, set up the bike really at his wishes, and the sprint race maybe many times didn't go as he wanted. Let's not forget that he was second when he crashed in India, and this was also a setback, because obviously, you know, he just passed Jorge, then we could see at the last part of the race he was having physical problems. So, but anyways, it's true, Pecco is, you know, Pecco likes to work with his team. He has a full, you know, there is a really strict relationship between him, Gabarini, Pagano, and the rest of the team. So they always analyze and normally come on a Sunday with a setup which allows Pecco to be always fighting. Let's not forget that I think he's the only rider who's always been able, I think maybe with one exception, to be fighting for the podium in everything.
Martin, of course, they've been fighting in different teams but on the same bike, and it's kind of fascinating for us to watch it from the outside, because they're 2 completely different personalities, 2 very, very different approaches, which makes for a fascinating battle. In his first 2 seasons, but he was 9th in 2021, 9th in 2022. To make that
was back in 2020, you know, when the championship had not started yet because of COVID, and we knew that obviously, let's not forget the crash he had in Portimao and the consequences. And to be totally honest, you know, last year